The sound came at dawn. A hard, sharp noise echoed through the concrete walls of Bang Kwang Prison. It was not loud like an explosion, but it was final. Every man in cell block 5 froze. Sweat ran down faces that were already soaked from the heat. No one spoke. No one moved. Everyone knew what that sound meant. An execution had just happened inside the prison. Michael Carter pressed his back against the wall and slid slowly to the floor. His leg irons clanked as he moved. The metal was heavy and cold, locked around his ankles day and night. He had worn them for so long that the skin underneath was always raw. Michael shut his eyes, but the sound stayed in his head. He imagined the courtyard. He imagined the blindfold. He imagined the guards standing still, like statues. Then a guard shouted orders in Thai, and the prison came back to life. Men were pushed out of their cells. Chains scraped on the floor. The morning count began like nothing had happened. Like a man had not just died a few walls away. Michael looked down at his hands. They were shaking. He whispered to himself, "If they can kill him today, they can kill me tomorrow." And that was when the cell door slammed shut again. Michael did not know yet how he ended up here. He did not know how one bad choice would pull him into one of the most feared prisons in Asia. He did not know how long the leg irons would stay on his body. He only knew one thing for sure. Bang Kwang was going to break him. The story began 2 years earlier, far from the prison walls. Michael Carter was from Ohio. He was 32 years old, tall, with tired blue eyes and a soft voice. He was not a criminal by nature. He worked small jobs, never stayed long in one place, and always believed his luck would change someday. When a man named Jason Reed offered him a way to make quick money overseas, Michael listened. Jason said it was simple. You travel. You carry a bag. You get paid. No trouble. Michael asked questions, but not enough. He wanted to believe. He wanted to pay his debts. He wanted a fresh start. The plane landed in Bangkok on a hot night. The air felt thick, like it was hard to breathe. Michael noticed soldiers at the airport, standing still with rifles. That made him nervous, but Jason smiled and said, "Relax. This place is safe." 2 days later, Michael was arrested. Thai police stopped him outside a hotel. They searched his bag. Inside, wrapped tight and hidden deep, were drugs. A lot of them. Michael tried to explain. His words came out fast and messy. The officers did not listen. They did not need to. Thailand's drug laws were strict. Very strict. The trial was short. The judge did not smile. The translator's voice was calm and flat. Michael was found guilty of drug trafficking. The sentence was long. Very long. And then the judge said the words that would follow Michael into his nightmares. Bang Kwang Central Prison. The ride to the prison was silent. The truck was crowded with other prisoners. Some were Thai. Some were foreigners like him. No one talked. The prison appeared slowly through the dust, tall walls topped with wire. Guards opened the gates and the truck rolled inside. From the first step, Bang Kwang felt wrong. The heat hit like a wall. The smell was a mix of sweat, rust, and waste. Guards shouted orders. Prisoners moved in lines, heads down. Michael's clothes were taken. His hair was cut short. Then came the leg irons. A guard locked the heavy metal around his ankles. The sound of the lock clicking shut made Michael's chest tight. "These stay on," the guard said in broken English. "You are death row." Michael's heart dropped. Inside the cell, space did not exist. Men slept side by side, bodies touching. At night, it was so crowded that no one could turn over. During the day, the sun baked the concrete until it burned skin. Water was limited. Medical care was worse. Michael met other foreigners. David Miller from California. Thomas Brooks from Texas. Robert Hayes from New York. They shared food when they could and whispered stories at night. They talked about the executions. They said the guards never warned you. One day a man would be there. The next day he was gone. Sometimes you heard sounds. Sometimes you didn't. But everyone felt it. Fear lived in the air. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Michael lost weight. His ankles swelled under the irons. One night, David collapsed from heat and sickness. The guards came late. Too late. David never came back to the cell. The prison did not stop. Forced labor began before sunrise. Prisoners carried heavy loads, cleaned yards, and worked until their bodies screamed. Anyone who slowed down was beaten. Discipline was harsh and fast. No questions. No mercy. Michael learned to stay quiet, to move when told, to hide pain. But fear does not disappear. It waits. One morning, a list was read aloud. Names echoed through the block. When Michael heard his name, his stomach twisted. He was ordered to stand. A guard grabbed his arm and pulled him out of line. The other prisoners watched in silence. Michael looked back at Thomas and Robert. Their faces were pale. Michael was led down a long hallway. Each step of the irons sounded too loud. At the end of the hall was a door he had never seen before. The guard opened it. Inside, the air was cold. Michael stepped forward, not knowing if he would ever walk back out. The door closed behind Michael with a heavy thud. For a moment, he stood still, waiting for something terrible to happen. The room was small and clean compared to the rest of the prison. A fan buzzed softly on the wall. A desk sat in the corner. This place felt wrong because it felt calm. A man in a dark uniform sat behind the desk. He looked at Michael like he was reading a report, not looking at a human being. "Sit," the man said in English. Michael sat. The leg irons clanked again. The sound made his heart jump. The man spoke slowly. "You are Michael Carter, United States. Drug trafficking. Death sentence." Michael swallowed. His mouth was dry. "You will be moved," the man continued. "Not today, but soon." Moved. That word echoed in Michael's head. He had heard other prisoners talk about it in whispers. Being moved could mean many things. A different cell, a different block, or something worse. The man slid a paper across the desk. "Sign." Michael stared at it. He could not read Thai. He did not know what he was signing. His hands shook as he picked up the pen. He signed because he felt he had no choice. The guard stood and opened the door. Back to cell. The walk back felt longer than before. Every step felt heavy. When the cell door opened, Thomas and Robert rushed toward him. "What happened?" Thomas whispered. Michael shook his head. "I don't know. They said I will be moved." That night, sleep did not come. The prison was loud. Men coughed. Men cried softly. The heat wrapped around Michael like a blanket he could not remove. His leg irons burned against his skin. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the cold room and the paper he signed. Morning came too fast. Days passed. No one came for Michael. Life inside Bang Kwang continued its slow, crushing rhythm. Wake up before the sun. Forced labor. Little food. Endless heat. Endless waiting. One afternoon, Robert collapsed while carrying a heavy sack. A guard kicked him, shouting. Robert did not move. Other prisoners lowered their heads. No one helped. Later, Robert was dragged away. He never came back. Michael felt smaller each day. One evening, an older Thai prisoner named Somchai spoke to him in quiet English. Somchai had been inside Bang Kwang for over 20 years. "You must prepare your mind," Somchai said. "This prison breaks people who wait too much." Michael nodded. "How do I prepare?" Somchai looked at the wall. "You accept nothing is fair. You accept fear, or fear eats you." That night, Michael tried to do what Somchai said. He breathed slowly. He told himself to survive one day at a time. Just one more day. Then the executions started again. The first time, Michael heard nothing. Just silence. The second time, there was a sound, short and sharp, like before. After that, a strange calm fell over the block. No one spoke. Even the guards seemed quieter. Thomas leaned close to Michael. "They're clearing death row," he whispered. "I heard them talking." Michael felt cold inside. 2 weeks later, his name was called again. This time, it was at night. Guards opened the cell and pointed at Michael and 2 other men. One was an American named Daniel Foster. The other was a quiet British man. They were ordered to stand and follow. Other prisoners watched with wide eyes. Michael wanted to say goodbye to Thomas. He wanted to say something meaningful, but no words came out. The door closed behind them. They were led through dark hallways, deeper into the prison. The air smelled different here, cleaner, colder. They stopped outside a row of small cells. One by one, they were pushed inside. Michael's new cell was tiny, bare concrete, a thin mat on the floor, a bucket in the corner. The door slammed shut. Alone. Time moved strangely in that cell. Minutes felt like hours. Michael listened to his own breathing. He thought about his mother back in Ohio. He wondered if she knew where he was, if she knew how scared he was. A slot opened in the door. A guard looked in. "Tomorrow," the guard said. That was all. Michael sat on the floor and stared at the wall. Tomorrow could mean anything. His heart beat so hard it hurt. Morning came. The door opened. Guards pulled Michael up and marched him outside. The sky was pale blue. Birds flew freely above the prison walls. Michael wondered what it felt like to be free. They stopped near a courtyard. Michael saw something that made his knees weak. A chair. Straps. A wall with dark marks on it. This was the place. His legs gave out, but the guards held him up. He could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. He wanted to scream, but no sound came. Then, suddenly, a man in a suit stepped forward. He spoke fast in Thai, waving papers. The guards stopped. They talked loudly among themselves. Minutes passed. Long, painful minutes. Finally, the man in the suit turned to Michael. "Execution delayed," he said in English. "Legal review." Michael did not understand. He did not care. He was pulled away from the courtyard and shoved back down the hallway, back into the small cell. Michael collapsed on the floor, shaking. He was alive. For now. Days passed again. Then weeks. Michael was moved back to the main block. Thomas was gone. No one would say where he went. The prison felt heavier than ever. One night, Samchai whispered through the bars, "They do not forget your name once it is called." Michael lay awake, staring into the dark. Then just before dawn, keys rattled loudly outside his cell. Guards shouted his name. Michael stood, his heart pounding. As the door began to open again, the door flew open before the sun fully rose. Guards filled the doorway. Their faces were hard. One of them pointed at Michael. "Out. Now." The sound of keys, the scrape of boots, the cold grip on his arm, everything felt too fast. Michael's legs shook as the irons dragged across the floor. Other prisoners watched from the shadows. No one spoke. No one dared to. This was it. Michael felt it in his bones. They marched him down the hallway again, past turns he did not recognize, past doors he had never seen. The air grew cooler. His breath came short and shallow. He thought of his mother's voice. He thought of Ohio winters and quiet streets. He thought of all the small choices that led him here. The hallway opened into the same courtyard. The chair was there again. The straps lay open, waiting. Michael's vision blurred. He tasted metal in his mouth. The guards pushed him forward, and for a moment, he believed his heart would stop before anything else could happen. He wanted to beg, but pride and fear locked his throat. Then something unexpected happened. A shout cut through the air. "Stop." A different group of guards rushed in. Papers were waved again. Voices rose. Angry, urgent, confused. Michael stood there, swaying, while men argued over his life like it was a mistake on a form. Finally, a senior officer stepped forward. He looked at Michael, then at the chair, then back at the papers. "Remove him," the officer said. Sentence changed. Changed. The word felt unreal. Michael was dragged away, not to the cell, but to a different office. He was made to sit while an interpreter spoke in slow, careful English. "Your death sentence is reduced," the interpreter said. "Life imprisonment. No execution." Michael stared at him. "Why?" The interpreter shrugged. "Appeal. Foreign pressure. Time served. Many reasons. Many reasons." None of them erased the terror Michael had just felt. He was alive. Back in the main block, the news spread fast. Some men nodded with quiet respect. Some looked away, jealous or bitter. Life inside Bang Kwang did not stop for good news. The heat was still brutal. The food was still barely enough. The guards were still cruel. But something inside Michael changed. The constant edge of death was gone, but a heavy truth replaced it. Life in Bang Kwang could last forever. Days turned into months again. Michael worked. He learned Thai words. He shared food when he could. He helped weaker prisoners stand during counts. He learned how to survive without hope breaking him apart. He heard stories of men who lost their minds waiting. He watched others grow old behind the walls. Samchai was still there, moving slower now, eyes tired but calm. "You are still here," Samchai told him one night. "That means something." One afternoon, Michael was called to the office again. This time, there was no shouting, no rushing, just a calm voice and a letter. The letter was from the United States Embassy. Michael's hands shook as he read. Years had passed, but his case had not been forgotten. Talks between governments, reviews, changes in policy, a chance small but real. More waiting followed, painful waiting. But this time, it was different. Michael no longer counted every footstep as the end. Then, on a humid morning, his name was called one last time. He was taken out of the block. His leg irons were unlocked. The metal fell to the floor with a sound that made his eyes fill with tears. He had worn them for so long that walking felt strange without their weight. At the gate, Michael stopped and looked back. Bang Kwang stood silent and tall. The walls that had swallowed years of his life did not move, did not care. Inside, men were still waiting, still sweating, still listening for sounds at dawn. Michael stepped outside. The sun felt different on the other side of the wall. As the vehicle pulled away, he did not smile. He did not celebrate. He simply breathed. Bang Kwang Prison had not just taken years from him. It had shown him fear in its purest form. It had shown him how close life and death can stand to each other. And it had left marks that would never fully fade. Behind him, the gates closed. Inside, the brutal reality of the Bangkok Hilton continued, unchanged, unforgiving, and unforgettable.